So, how to get started in neurofeedback? Let's say you're a therapist, you're a counselor. This is interesting. You got to start somewhere. Where? Where do you start? So there's a few things you'd want to start with. One is you want to get a mentor. You want to get someone that you can meet with on a regular basis, that you can take maps to and say, here's what came up. You want to start with something that will kind of hold your hand. So if I were to say like a company that would hold your hand, it would be New Mind Technologies. New Mind Technologies, their QEEG is very simple, easy to understand. You're not diving through 400 pages of data per patient, which is easier to start with. So you want to get with a company like them. Having recommended protocols, just, hey, this is what the data shows, here's the recommended protocols. Also very helpful. You can sit and show your patient, and explain easily, this is what's going on in the brain. That being said, that's just part of it. So starting out with a company like that so they can kind of guide you through this process. 2, you're going to want a mentor. You're going to want someone to meet with and say, hey, this is what the recommended protocols, what do you think? Because you don't ever just want to go off of computerized recommendations. You don't. You need someone with experience to say, oh, actually, you don't want to do that in this situation, because there are times where that's the case. So mentors, some are like $400 an hour. Then there's others that are a bit more affordable. I think it's a School of Neurotherapy. They have classes in neurofeedback. It's like 2 hours here, 2 hours there for $75 each, or you can do a membership. And with that membership, you can actually become a part of this mentoring group where you can take your QEEGs and say, hey, this is what's going on. I'm just starting. What do you think? Can I have some guidance? So that's going to be helpful. That's affordable. There's people like John Demos that will sit with you for an hour on the computer and go over, hey, here's what we're seeing in the raw data. Here's what to look out for. This didn't come up on the map, but we're seeing beta spindles. There's things like that. Or there's this artifact, so we want to disregard what came up here. So there's individuals like John Demos. That's $100, but worth it. Absolutely worth it for the learning you're going to get. So a mentor, a company that is providing recommended protocols, but more importantly, paperwork that you can show your patients and say, this is what we found with your QEEG. Then what some people will do is they will send out the QEEG to someone else, and that other person will go through it and say, here's the patient's symptoms, and here's what we see. This is what I would recommend. And they send it back to the neurofeedback provider, and the neurofeedback provider then it just says, okay, this is the recommendations we got. We're going to go for it. They can do the training, and that's a great way to start. If you have someone else do the recommended protocols and tell you what to do, and you just do that because you're getting started, you don't know all the stuff about QEEGs yet, that's also a great way to start. As far as classes and didactic courses, there's some you can find at BCIA. There's some offered by Stress Therapy Solutions. There's some offered by Richard Suter. There's some offered by John Demos. These are classes that are necessary before you even start working with anyone. Take that. It's like a 30-hour course. Well, maybe like 36, soon to be 40. That's going to be, or maybe that's a QEG course. That's going to be almost required before you start. But be sure to get lined up with CEUs, School of Neurotherapy, or Stress Therapy Solutions, or these didactic courses, and then keep taking more and more and more and more CEUs. You're going to learn, but to start, you're going to need your hand held, and that's okay. You're going to need someone to say, this is a protocol you need to be doing. And let's say you go back to that person, you said, hey, I was doing that Peniston protocol we talked about, but it made things worse. Oh, take it back to them and say, what's going on here? This person seems to be experiencing anxiety when we're supposed to be training them to feel calm. Then they might say something like, you know what, that sounds like relaxation-induced anxiety. That's common with PTSD. Let's try the Van der Kolk protocol. That seems to work better for this situation. So there are situations like this that may come up that you're going to need a mentor to check in with. So School of Neurotherapy is a great place. It's affordable. New Mind Technologies, really helpful in presenting the data to your clients as you learn and grow and want more complex data to help your patients and more things that are more specific. You might then move to QEEG Pro. And then after that, you might move to NeuroGuide. There's so much to learn, but you can get started and you can get helping people quickly. You just need someone there to help you through it, and you need to be taking the courses as you go through it. So if you're a therapist interested in learning about neurofeedback, these are companies that I would recommend. As far as hardware and things like that, I'm very biased. I won't say what you should get. I like what's FDA cleared, so I prefer Brainmaster. So I guess I will say what I can't hide that bias. I like their hardware. I do. Even their software. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Those companies like New Mind Technologies, they absolutely have hardware and software that you can use also, and that's okay. Like if you want to, it makes things more affordable if you do something like that. I hope this has been helpful. Good luck. If you need a mentor, there's plenty out there that can help you and walk you through this process and meet with you on a regular basis to talk with you about your patient. It's like supervision being a therapist. You're going to need someone to check in with on a regular basis about your patients. So, good luck.